I'm seriously so appreciative.
He was the charismatic captain of the most glamorous ship on television. For 15 seasons, his voice was the sound of sequins, salsa, and the quest for the Mirrorball trophy. But in 2020, in a move that stunned Hollywood and heartbroken fans, Tom Bergeron was suddenly gone, dismissed, vanished from the ballroom without a final dance. The reason? A behind-the-scenes war that went nuclear over one of the most controversial casting choices in reality TV history. And for 5 long years, silence. But now, the king is finally returning to his castle. This is the story of the shocking exit, the secret feud, and the dramatic homecoming you never saw coming. To understand the shock of his departure, you have to remember the empire he built. Dancing with the Stars wasn't just a show, it was a weekly event, a glitter-dusted pressure cooker where stars were forged and egos were humbled on the dance floor. And at the center of it all was Tom Bergeron. He wasn't just a host, he was the show's warm, witty, and incredibly steady heartbeat. He was a master of live television. When a prop failed, Tom was there with a quip. When a contestant was in tears, he was a shoulder to lean on. He navigated live mishaps with the grace of a Viennese waltz. He was in many ways the Fred Astaire of hosts, making the incredibly difficult look effortless. He was as much a part of the show's brand as the Mirrorball trophy itself. In Hollywood, that kind of symbiotic relationship between a host and a show is rare. Think Ryan Seacrest in American Idol in its prime. It's magic, and nobody thought that magic would ever end. But in the summer of 2020, the music stopped. The world was in lockdown, and Hollywood was on pause. But behind the scenes, a storm was brewing. On July 13th, 2020, Tom Bergeron dropped a bombshell on social media. He announced that ABC had dismissed him from the show. Minutes later, co-host Erin Andrews announced she too was out. The news was brutal and abrupt, but why? The official statements were all creative differences and new direction. But in Tinseltown, creative differences is almost always code for a much deeper, much juicier conflict. And soon the truth spilled out. Tom Bergeron himself revealed the real rift, the casting of Sean Spicer. Let's break this down. Bergeron, a known liberal with a long history of sharp political humor, had actively lobbied producers against bringing a polarizing political figure onto a show that was an escape for many. He believed it would poison the well. But the producers, perhaps chasing controversy and headlines, did it anyway. They cast Sean Spicer, a figure directly tied to one of the most divisive administrations in modern history. This wasn't just a disagreement, it was a fundamental clash of vision. Bergeron saw the show as a ballroom. The producers saw it as a battleground for ratings. And in that battle, the host, the face of the franchise for 15 years, was deemed expendable. What followed was a messy transition. Supermodel and business mogul Tyra Banks was brought in, not just as host, but as an executive producer. The vibe of the show shifted dramatically. Critics and longtime fans were merciless, citing a loss of the show's warmth and an increase in cringe-worthy moments. Ratings began to slide. Meanwhile, Tom Bergeron maintained a dignified, if not deafening, silence about his old stomping grounds. He moved on, but the fans didn't. For 5 years, the question lingered on every forum and fan page. Will Tom ever come back? And then, just when we thought it was a closed chapter, the news broke. It won't be on the main stage just yet, but the ice has been broken. Tom Bergeron is returning to the Dancing with the Stars universe as a guest on Alfonso Ribeiro's official aftershow, the DWTS After Show. This is monumental. Alfonso, of course, is a former Mirrorball champion and Tom's spiritual successor as the main show's host. The symbolism is rich. It's a passing of the torch, but also a healing of old wounds. It's the first step back into the ballroom that defined his career. The Hollywood grapevine is buzzing. Was this a peace offering from producers, a test to gauge fan reaction for a bigger return? In this town, every move is strategic. The story of Tom Bergeron and Dancing with the Stars is a classic Hollywood tale. It's about loyalty in business, principle, and power. It proves that in an industry built on illusion, a genuine connection with an audience is the most real thing there is. His return, however small, feels like a victory for the fans who never forgot the man who made the ballroom feel like home. So what do you think? Is this a one-off appearance or the beginning of a full-time comeback? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you love this deep dive into Hollywood's biggest dramas, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss our next update. Until next time, keep dancing.